Hello, sports fans, and welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus, powered by Fairway Food Stores. We got Andy, we got Jack, we got Peter. Jack, it's November, and that means it is soup season. It's hand warmer season. What are your favorite things to get from Fairway Food Store when it's cold?
Soup is a good one. Oh man, you put me on the spot. Hot chocolate, some
Hot
Swiss Miss hot
chocolate. Oh my
chocolate.
gosh, that's my hot
Um,
chocolate of the year.
uh, I honestly like warm breakfast foods like cinnamon rolls and
Oh
you
yeah.
know, cooking up some like bacon and I don't know. That's like that like a snowy morning. I weirdly associate with like breakfast.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a big oatmeal person unless it's freezing cold, but
Oh, I
sometimes the
like
right
oatmeal.
oatmeal can hit pretty hard. So
I like
I'm
oatmeal.
excited.
I'm 89 years old, so
Yeah, yeah. When it gets the colder it gets, the older I get. But I turned into a huge soup person just a year or two ago, where it's like, I used to hate it when it gets cold. Now there's like that little, it is like an old man thing, like a little thing's like, soup is probably gonna taste so much better now that it's cold outside.
no fear.
Um, Yeah, me and Jack had much less affordable options for lunch yesterday because we were at the state volleyball tournament. I was just complaining about my $11 pizza, and I don't even want to complain about it because that was the cheapest deal at Extreme Arena. And we're gonna get to our time at Extreme Arena later, but not before we bring you up to speed on the Iowa high school football. Um, the Iowa high school football slate, how life is in Iowa high school football. 8 teams left in every class. Peter and I, unfortunately,
What? Me?
both
Me? Yes.
saw teams lose on Friday night.
Peter
But they
saw
were
a team lose, did he?
Peter. Gosh dang it, Jack. You know what it is? Is the names all in a row. It says Andy on my screen, then Peter's the second name. So that's the name I want
There
you
you go.
looking at. And it's right above your head, too. And so I just associate your face with Peter. Peter didn't see anybody lose. But Jack and I saw a couple of losses. So we'll get into those. Jack, we'll go. Why don't we go as far as the teams that lost? We'll go big school to small school, and then we'll talk about the Mid-Prairie situation afterwards. So you were in beautiful Manchester, but not England, Manchester, Iowa. Tell me about your experience.
Yeah, funnily enough, I've been to Manchester, England. They are not similar places.
Now,
I can't confirm. But yes, I was in Manchester. That is where West Delaware is. They played Mount Pleasant. Honestly, a final score of 35-21. Mount Pleasant season ends. They finished 7-3 with a loss to a good West Delaware team. And honestly, 35-21 is a much more flattering scoreline for West Delaware than I think the game actually really went. Mount Pleasant was in this until the fourth quarter. Their defense, as usual, absolutely kept them in it. They had 3 takeaways. 2 of them were in the first half. That was really the big kind of events were all congested into the second quarter. They went down. They went down early. They were down 14-0, and then scored a touchdown. And then on the very first play of West Delaware's next possession, it was a strip sack. Hold on, I have the name of it because I took his picture as he got the strip sack. Kellen, is it Cohorst?
Cohorst.
I think it's Cohorst.
Cohorst.
Okay. Kellen Cohorst, a strip sack, forced a fumble. The ball landed right into Ramsey Davis's arms. It happened right in front of me on the sidelines. He sprints back 24 yards for a touchdown, ties the game at 14. And an interception in the first quarter by Asa Rose negated what could have been a 14-0 lead for West Delaware. Even at that point, it felt like the game could have got away from Mount Pleasant. Defense absolutely kept it in them. West Delaware would end up getting a touchdown to go up 21-14, but it was still very much a ball game thanks to Mount Pleasant's defense. They were absolutely on it and kept them in the game. And then right at halftime, so it's 21-14, West Delaware actually gets the ball back after scoring the touchdown. They get back down the field. They're at the 21-yard line, and a couple of West Delaware people informed me of this. They trot out to try a field goal, and I learned afterward it was actually their first field goal attempt of the season. They tried to kick a field goal to go up 24-14 and go up 2 possessions by halftime. Mount Pleasant's Isaiah Lang blocks the field goal. Ramsey Davis ends up with the football again, was just a magnet for it, I guess. Also, his touchdown made it 14-14, or made it a 14-7 West Delaware. Big catch by Brody Clark from a good pass by Grayson Walker. Set them up on the one. He punched it in. That was their other touchdown. But he ends up with the ball after Isaiah Lang blocks the field goal, returns it all the way back to the 39-yard line of West Delaware. A flag comes in at the end of the play because he was grabbed by his horse collar and slung down. Refs are talking about it. What I didn't hear and what some other people on the sideline informed me of, one of the refs blew the play dead as soon as the field goal was blocked, which is wrong. It's a live football. Refs have a big, long discussion. I'm not sure ultimately what got deduced from it, but they decide to pick up the flag, and after about 7-8 minutes of discussion, which is a long time, blow up for halftime, and the half just ends. It's still 21-14 West Delaware. So wild. And Mount Pleasant, as you know, Andy, has Dylan White, who's a good kicker. He's made a 40-plus yard field goal this year. With that 15-yard penalty, they're set up in position for him to maybe make this a 21-17 game. So some kind of weirdness does not go Mount Pleasant's way. That said, they still had plenty of opportunities in the second half. Their offense really couldn't get anything going. West Delaware scored on their first drive of the second half, made it 28-14. Mount Pleasant got another fumble recovery with like 8 minutes left on the fourth quarter. 2 plays later, they connect on a deep ball. It was Walker to, I'm going to remember. I'm going to look through my article and remember. Keegan Schott, I believe is how you say his last name. They get into Hawks territory. That's their best chance to maybe pull a touchdown back and get this to a 1-score game. Walker gets sacked on back-to-back plays, backed all the way up back into Mount Pleasant territory. He got sacked a bunch. West Delaware's pass rush was giving him a couple of fits. And then on the next drive, West Delaware scores to make it 35-14. Mount Pleasant got a garbage time touchdown. Brody Clark got a reception. And that about did it. But Mount Pleasant was very much in this game. And obviously, this was the first time, Andy, you covered Mount Pleasant for most of the season. This was my first time getting to cover them. And just getting the vibe, this team did not, obviously there were tears, there were hugs. Their season's over. 12 seniors ended their football careers. But I mean, these kids went 0-9 2 seasons ago and pulled it all the way back to get into the playoffs. There was a lot of pride on that field. I talked to Ramsey Davis afterward, and the kind of thing I took the most away from was he said, to my freshman and sophomore year, fans were coming to our home games and leaving after the band played. And now we've got more fans than that driving 2 hours to watch us play on the road in the playoffs. So they'd come a long way. It's obviously disappointing for them to end, and it sucks for those seniors. They lose some good talent. But I will say, Andy, they're going to bring back a ton of talented guys. Walker's only a junior. Brody Clark, who scored that touchdown, is only a sophomore. Isaiah Lang is only a sophomore, got the field goal block. Asa Rose, a sophomore, who got that interception. So this will not be the last I don't think we'll be seeing of Mount Pleasant here. But they do lose 35-21 to West Delaware.
Yeah, a lot of good sophomore talent on this Mount Pleasant team. They'll lose a lot, some bigger kids. The alignment, I think, it'd be huge losing Ramsey. But you mentioned Kelton Coerce, those other big guys. That'll be a big. But you know what? Some of those sophomores are. Isaiah Lang is a monster.
He's a big kid.
A monster for that age. So size wise, they should be good. I honestly think, looking back on the 3A group. When the district came out this year, I remember, and you could actually, if someone can go back, you could watch. Hunter and I actually read the district off live on this show when it came out, because it came out during showtime. But it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they made this district where Solon was there, and then they have all of our Southeast Iowa teams, none of which had been super good the previous year, and they put them all together. And we thought it was going to be a fairly weak district. And really, all in all, I think this year kind of marked the little bit of a come up for Southeast Iowa football, because I think that Mount Pleasant is going to be a force next year. I think he knows. I think that Fairfield. I think that. Here we go. He knows. Here I am again on the walk. On the walk, getting dog walked by the dog. He followed me up. Stay here. Opie has been, the dog has been ejected from the show. First ejection of the year. Anyway, Fairfield, if they just have more players next year, they have the junior talent. I mean, kids that have been the stars of the team for now 2 years. Washington is always just a good program, so there's never really a worry that they're going to go too far down or anything like that. They got some good young talent too. Keokuk, a lot of good sophomores, so be interesting. I mean, Solon is Solon. They have a lot of good players. They just reload, but I think next year we'll be excited for next year when it comes up, because it'll be the feeling of not only, it's not going to be like, oh, maybe somebody will sneak into the playoffs this year. It'll be like there's going to be some big games in Southeast Iowa.
Yeah.
So good work, Mount Pleasant there, pretty much all the way back. I'll go through 1A really quick. Sigourney Keota, no Ike Molyneux because of injury. They played against Beckman Catholic, a team I saw them beat with my very own eyes in 2020. 35-0. They couldn't get anything going offensively. Sigourney Keota couldn't up at Beckman. So tough one, but Sigourney Keota 5-5 at the end of the year. All 5 of those losses will be playing this weekend in the playoffs. And every single team they lost to themselves in the quarterfinals. So yeah, Sigourney another good run for Sigourney as usual. And they got to show off some of their sophomore talent this weekend. So they'll have plenty left. No worries on Sigourney's future. I was at Pekin, Iowa. It was Pekin Northland 2 after Pekin beat Northland last year in the opener. The Panthers played very good defense, such good defense. They ended up losing this one 21-3. 3 touchdown passes on 4th and long for Northland. 3 touchdown passes, all on 4th and long. Other than those 3 touchdown passes, I couldn't even think of many plays that really went Northland's way offensively. But it was that doubly on Pekin's offense. This game could have been 3-0. This game could have been 0-0 at halftime. Every single offensive score was set up by a defensive play. Northland scored first in the first quarter after Pekin was at about midfield. They tried a fake punt. I think it was a fake punt. It was one of those things where no one knew if it was going to be a fake punt because they messed up the handoff, the snap. The snap went over the head of Henry Adam, and he's the punter, but he can throw it. Who knows what was going to happen? But it seemed like they were probably set up for a fake punt, and that gave Northland the ball at I think like the 35-yard line, and then Northland did get like one okay running play, like a 15 or 20-yard rush, just on the next play, but they got pushed back. Had 4th down and goal from the 7. Great catch by this win for WIN and for which is actually a Pekin name for Northland. I forget his first name, but he made it was a really nice play by Northland's passing game. 7-0. Pekin responds with a field goal. You mentioned West Delaware's only field goal. I remember seeing Pekin's first field goal of the year against Danville just a couple weeks ago. They're now 2 for 2, I believe, because Henry Adam did hit a field goal, but the setup was more exciting than the field goal. He picked off a pass at the 15, at the Pekin 15, ran it all the way back downfield, going left, going right. Actually, a poor official got right in the action. Nothing he could do anything about it. He absolutely blasted by a player. I think a Pekin player actually on the run back. Henry got brought down all the way down at the Northland 9, And then Pekin's offense actually went backwards, ended up kicking a 33-yard field goal. So it was 7-3 after at halftime. Still kind of a feeling of like, honestly, I was like, well, Northland's offense hasn't really done anything. So as long as Pekin can get anything on offense, I liked their chances. A couple of turnovers on downs, and I think both were turnover on down. There might have been an interception there, led to Northland getting short field. On one of those, it was 4th and 13 from the 22, and they hit a little check down, little screen pass to their running back for a touchdown. That was in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, 4th and 10 from the 13, touchdown pass. So 3 times when it looked like Northland was in a really low percentage situation. But this guy, Will Summerfelt for Northland, he's a junior. He played against Pekin last year. He was their starter last year. Kid's good. And when it came down to it, even though there were people in his face all night long, he was able to make those 3 plays. So tough one for Pekin. Ends a season where they captured a district title. They went undefeated in the regular season. They got back to the second round of the Class 1A playoffs. Class A playoffs, sorry. Sigourney Kyoto's 1A. But Panthers, just like the Mount Pleasant Panthers, are out just like the Sigourney Kyoto Cobras. And that means, Jack, we have 1 team left. And as 3 of our teams go down, a couple in kind of heartbreaking fashion, our 4th team, Mid-Prairie, leaves absolutely no doubt. Jack, you will be seeing the Mid-Prairie Golden Hawks this Friday night in a marquee 2A matchup against Van Meter. Mid-Prairie 46-0 over Mediapolis. Their 4th win over Mediapolis in 2 years, and they just got better each time. So I guess we can just discuss the fact that we have a juggernaut on our hands, I think, Jack.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been working on this morning the preview for this game against Van Meter, but I was at the last MIPO game. They won 62-21, and their margin of victory was even more than that in the playoff game, 46-0. And I mean, this is just a really good Mid-Prairie team. When I go through stats, I try and find where one team's kind of distinct weakness is versus the team coming in. And Van Meter is really balanced as well. Sorry, I took some of my water. Really balanced as well. They've got a decent rushing attack. Their quarterback isn't amazing. It's this kid Henry Lounsbury, kind of a dual threat guy. He's 2nd on the team in rushing. Their running back is I scrolled down too far. Christian Williams is his name. 825 yards and 12 touchdowns. So he's certainly a threat on the ground. And then Lounsbury's only completed a little over 50% of his passes, but he has 16 touchdowns and only 3 picks, which among the Class 3A players that have attempted at least 100 passes, that's the second fewest. So he limits his mistakes. And that's the thing with Mid-Prairie is even in these games, the close win over Wilton, they lost to Alburnett, which is a team that's still in Pod 2 for Class 2A, can still reach the UNI-Dome as well as Mid-Prairie. So not a bad loss. The 21-20 win over Wilton is not a bad one either. They're still in it. So even in those close games and in those losses, Pekin's been super balanced. They're 1st in 3A in touchdowns. And then for me, the big difference maker has been the defense. That was when I watched them this season against MIPO. They just got an early lead because they kept getting takeaways. They have pick sixes. I think they lead the class in, I want to say, they lead Class 3A with forced fumbles and fumble recoveries. They've recovered 14. They forced 10. They have a bunch of interceptions. Kendrick Koss had 2 by himself against Mediapolis. So this is just a really good Mid-Prairie team, and it seems like they have turned a corner. They gritted their way through a Wilton win. They clearly fixed some stuff that didn't go well against Alburnett, but they have not played anyone since those guys that are close to the level of Van Meter. So it'll be really interesting to see how they hold up. Van Meter did that stuff too. They have 10 fumble recoveries themselves. They have 3 guys with 2 picks each, including a defensive lineman who has 2 pick sixes this year. But Yeah, it'll be really interesting. A very balanced team that seems like it's coming in, but I think it's big that Mid-Prairie is going to be at home. They obviously went to PCM last year, got destroyed in that game on the road at this stage of the season in the 2A quarterfinals. So I think Mid-Prairie should feel okay about its chances, but Mediapolis was a very overmatched opponent in terms of a second round team because they kind of pulled an upset there. But there's something to be said about playing a team that's hot like that. But I'm really excited for this game. I think it's going to be super interesting. I think both these teams can hurt each other in different ways. It's interesting too. I mean, Mid-Prairie has a lot of weapons at receiver. For Van Meter, they have like I said, it's 16 touchdowns. They don't have a single guy who has more than 3, but they have like 3 guys with 3. Yeah, they have like 3 guys with 3, 4 guys with 2, and their leading receiver only has like 300, a little over 300 yards. So they kind of spread the wealth a little bit. And I'm interested to see how that Mid-Prairie defense kind of counters that, knowing that it's clear that their QB Lounsbury has kind of trusts a lot of those guys to throw to. So we'll see how Mid-Prairie counters that defensively, but I'm very excited to be at this game to see if Mid-Prairie can punch its ticket. Do you know, Andy, when, if ever, is the last time they got to the UNI-Dome?
Oh, that's a good question. I might be able to do a little research on that at the I think I probably put that in our paper in last year's Mid-Prairie. Not since I've been here. We've had a variety of teams make it to the Dome since I've been here. Mid-Prairie has not quite made it yet. But I will I might go ahead and check that out on their little they have the historic sites that have all that information. But what I was going to say, X's and O's wise, was that I think the most dangerous thing about Mid-Prairie is that any play in the game that Mid-Prairie could score. Mid-Prairie can score from the deep ball, running the ball. Their defense is a big play defense. Their special teams, they're very dangerous in the return game. And so that was against Mediapolis. Hudson Ehrenfeld scored a 58-yard touchdown the very first play. Later scored like a 54-yard touchdown run. Bomb passes. They use the entire field, wherever they are, defense, special teams, offense. So Van Meter being a more down-to-earth team might be that'll be interesting to watch. In the 2A field, by the way, I do not see a team that I would say has no shot at just winning it all. I think that it is of all the little classes left, 2A in my opinion has to be wide open. Carol Kemper is the top seed, and they only won by 11, I think, in their last game. Mid-Prairie actually had the most impressive playoff performance yet, probably of the 8. So I think it's going to be a wild Friday night, and Jack will be there. So hopefully some big headlines. And when we come back from commercial, some more big headlines as we dive in to what Jack and I did last night at state volleyball, and then we still have state cross country recap to go. So stick with us. We'll be back. I don't know why I did a little space between stick with and us, but we'll be back.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
At WCHC, our goal is to take great care of our patients and our staff.
We are able to approach you, take care of your issues, but also give you a path, as far as referrals or treating you right then and there.
Our role in the community is taking care of something that matters to everyone. It's their family and their health.
More than you expect for your health care.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Southeast Union Press Sports Plus, powered by Fairway Food Stores. Your play. I think I called it I used to call Fairway. What did I call it, Peter? I used to call it the Mecca of meats. and the Guggenheim of groceries or something
true.
like that.
That's true.
Mecca of meats. Arby's would like a word.
The Mecca of meat. Yeah, Arby's. I'll tell you what, Arby's. No, I can't rip on Arby's. I can't do it. Can't do it, Arby's. Sorry. Are there any Arby's in Fairways? No, there's no way. There's an Arby's in the gas station in Mount Pleasant. We're gonna talk a little volleyball. Jack and I were both on hand at the Class 3A state volleyball tournament yesterday, and unfortunately for the very high number of Mid-Prairie fans who took the day of work or school off and went up a long trip up there to Iowa City, like 15 minutes away, and watched the Golden Hawks. Just like last year, very competitive first set, tough couple of sets. Jack, little disappointing, I'd say, but an end to another banner year for Mid-Prairie volleyball.
Yeah, kind of similar to Mount Pleasant with football, where it's the end for a group of seniors that have really propelled the program. You could really feel that, throughout these last 2 years. I know, Andy, I wasn't here last year, but they, obviously made it to this point, lost to a really good Mount Vernon team. Yeah, fell at the same hurdle. They lost to Assumption, 3-0, 25-19, 25-10, 25-15. After that first set, at the end of it, Assumption went on a 5-0 run to kind of close it after his 2019 and just never looked back. They have some really good hitters. They have, their players committed to Kansas State. And, I sometimes feel like in volleyball, especially and football, it's felt too, where if you just have the talent and have particularly the size and the height, it is just really hard for even a team as scrappy as Mid-Prairie is to overcome that. And that's no knock on Mid-Prairie, but Assumption is really tough. They're the 2 seed for a reason. So yeah, not a ton to take away from the game other than that. We talked to the coaches afterward. It was kind of one of those things where Assumption really got a good tempo going. They were kind of saying, Mid-Prairie kind of failed to kind of throw them out of their system, which if you can do that to a team and get the wrong players in the wrong positions, you can have some success. And Mid-Prairie kind of just didn't do that. And you lose your energy, kind of gets drained from there. But I think, again, the overall takeaway aside from that is that, this is a Mid-Prairie team that also does not feel like it is going anywhere. They'll lose Jovi Evans, who, is all around their best player. I mean, she was first on the team in kills, I think second in assists, maybe second in digs as well. Had a fair few blocks this year too. So that will be a big loss. There's a couple of other seniors going, I think 6 in total. Avery Helmuth, who is their leading assister, is out. Harper Pecha and Caitlin Harland, who were in the top 4 in kills, are gone. But, Zeb and Sherry Evans, the coaches, Andy, made it very clear. I mean, they've got plenty of talent coming through the pipeline. They gave us some good insight even about their middle school program that's been really good. They say they have, hundreds of kids coming to the camps, and that's a credit to this group that's departing. They really raised the standard and the interest in volleyball for that program. So it really does not feel like Mid-Prairie is going anywhere. And hopefully as they continue to build, they can through and go further than the quarterfinal round. But I mean, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, they have 4 state appearances in their school's history, and this group has gotten 2 of them in the last 2 seasons. So, plenty to hang their hat on for sure.
Here's in the Bound era. Here are the wins for Mid-Prairie volleyball. You ready for this? Starting in 2008, 11, 9, 3, 1, 6, 6, 14, 16, 13, 5, 5, 6, 9, 16. Then here's where this senior class became freshmen: 27, 31, 30 in a state appearance. Sorry, 33 in a state appearance, 30 in a state appearance. So
wow.
It was not very long ago that it's funny because I always remember that when Mid-Prairie would play Washington, because Washington's very similar, where they just jumped up. Mid-Prairie would play Washington, and we'd be like, we got to be at that game because that's the game where we can see them compete against the team, because both of them were struggling so much. And in a few short years, that's how it happens in high school sports, where all of a sudden Mid-Prairie is a power in volleyball. 30 wins 3 straight years. Very impressive. They'll be, I'm sure that they will be a force next year. Although those are very, very strong seniors. So I was actually going to look to see the rest of that bracket because Assumption. By the way, the Assumption was the 2 seed, Mid-Prairie the 7. Assumption looked real. I mean the height that Assumption had. Mid-Prairie's always been kind of shorter than their opponents. They're just more athletic and scrappier and quicker. But once you get so high up there, I mean, that girls going to K-State was basically just
Ella
going.
Dreyer is her name, by the way. She's the one.
It was like she was going straight down into the ground. You had to be in a perfect position to dig that up. So I was going to click on the where's this bracket here so I can see, because we did see Carol Kemper 1 and 4, I believe. So that's who Assumption plays. And then there's 2 other sweeps. Norwalk swept, and the 1 seed game, which was Western Christian against Mount Vernon. Western Christian swept. So not too much competitiveness as far as the games. And I expected all those games to be close. So that's it. Mid-Prairie is our top volleyball team this year. Cool that we got a team back to state a couple years. It had been a while before Mid-Prairie did it last year for the Union coverage area in general. I think it was 2020 when we had a volleyball team at state last. So that's fun. It's fun to have a good volleyball team, and we love that it's in Iowa City, Jack, because so much better than drive. I mean, when we come back from this commercial break, we'll tell you about a city that we had to drive hours and hours and hours to get to for state cross country. So stick with us, and we'll tell you about our travels.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Celebrate the season at the Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights. With over 180 dazzling light displays, it's the perfect holiday tradition for families, friends, and loved ones. Experience the magic from the comfort of your car, and on select nights, bring the kids to meet Santa himself. Don't miss this enchanting event that brings holiday spirit to life. For directions, dates, times, and ticket info, head to oldthreshers.com. The Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights, where holiday magic comes to life.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Welcome back, Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus. We are running into some state cross-country coverage. Jack, Andy, Peter, Fairway Food Stores. Jack, you were at day 1 of the Iowa High School cross-country state meet. I'll tell you what, this is the state event where the parking is always so perfect. You never have to stay in line for 3 hours to get to the event. Just run perfectly up there in Fort Dodge. If you made it into the facility, Jack, what did you see?
I did make it into the facility. It wasn't the worst exit out, to be honest, though I was not in as much of a time crunch to leave as I thought I would be, because, of course, I went immediately from Fort Dodge to Manchester for West Delaware, Mount Pleasant. But I did make it in. It was very cold. It was very windy. It wasn't the worst weather in the world, but it was cold and windy, so it was what it was. But I watched the 2A and 3A races. I'll start with 2A. We only had one team, and guess who, Andy? It was the Mid-Prairie Golden Hawks.
Mid-Prairie.
Mid-Prairie competed
episode of the entire season.
They competed in the 2A girls team race. Now, the story all season for Mid-Prairie, they were obviously the defending state champions, but they have been very, very injured, very sick, as well as I found out from Brooklyn Stutzman, who was their top runner there on Friday, who I talked with. So they ended up finishing 9th in the team race, which obviously missed out on podium for that. But you know what? Honestly, when I talked to a couple of Mid-Prairie runners, I talked to Rebecca Wallington as well. They were pretty happy. This team kind of gritted it out. They had to have a freshman come and run there at state for them. She set a personal record. She was their 7th runner. So a little bit tough for them to be just kind of so banged up all year and never really fully healthy. But to even get to state is a pretty exceptional achievement for them, just given all the adversity they kind of faced. And that's what they kind of talked about. So definitely kept the right mindset about it. But results-wise, Brooklyn Stutzman was the standout. She did finish 7th overall, 19 minutes, 20.1 seconds. So she got all-state honors. She got to go on the deck up there at Fort Dodge. Everyone stands below and kind of cheers, which is a pretty cool setup. I enjoy that.
Very cool. That's the coolest thing about that site. And everybody knows if you get top 15, you get to go on the
deck. Yeah, so that was cool, and all I was actually standing right next to all the Mid-Prairie runners who were down there below and taking pictures, and they were very excited for her, and just a junior, so she'll be back to kind of lead this Mid-Prairie team again. But she had a very good race on the girls' side, and then Mid-Prairie did have one representative on the boys' side, so not the team race, but it was Max Schwarzenstruber. I think I got his name right.
Swartz, almost. I think he added a little hint of an S to Schwarzenstruber, but
Schwarzenstruber.
I mean, it's four syllables, and you got 3 perfect and 1 like 90%. So
I went for the Z. That's my pet peeve, is getting names wrong. Max Schwarzenstruber. Sorry, Max. He also competed on the boys' side. 59th overall, 17 minutes, 43.4 seconds. The best part about interviewing cross-country runners, they are very candid about their performances. They're very honest. And he said it was tough running against the wind, tough running without teammates. Of course, Mid-Prairie went as a team in the boys' race last year. But, you're still very happy with his season. Won a conference title, set a PR in that race, and is I think, definitely looking forward to getting back to state and doing even better. So also a junior for the Mid-Prairie boys. So a good season for Max. He took 59th overall. And then a couple more runners in the 3A race, which was also on Saturday. We had, it ended up only being 3 from Washington and 2 from Mount Pleasant. Quinn Shirley on the girls' side from Mount Pleasant, who qualified, did not race. But Avery Fedler and Silas Hewlett did for the girls and the boys, respectively, for Mount Pleasant. And then the standout performer among the Panthers and Demons was on the boys' side for Washington. Andrew Reese narrowly missed out on an all-state nod. He got 18th. They give it to the top 15 runners. 16 minutes, 22.6 seconds to take 18th in the boys' race. And then the Demons had 2 runners on the girls' side, Iris Dahl and Emma Horick, who obviously both ran last year when they went as a team. Horick qualified as an individual for the first time, along with Iris. Iris got 20th overall in the 3A girls race. Emma Horick got 95th. They were both pretty excited, pretty satisfied with the performances. Iris Dahl kind of said, it was kind of the least nervous she's felt in a long time, knowing it was the last race of her outstanding career, which includes, 4 appearances at state, an individual SEC title as well. So she was very excited to just go out and run and then, end her career on a high note. So, and then Emma Horick excited to kind of come back and keep building, sort of like Max for Mid-Prairie. And then on the girls' side, I mentioned it, Avery Fedler. She took 24th, was obviously seated a lot higher than that. A true freshman running, at the biggest race, of her career. She was very candid as well afterward. Got to talk to her. Just a lot of nerves, a lot of excitement. Sometimes that. It's a mental game as much as it is a physical one for cross country. And so it was a little bit tough for her. She was obviously disappointed. She is very competitive. She said it as much herself. Every time I step out on the course, I want to win. I want to do the best I can. But, she was also straight up that she treats cross country as a platform to train as hard as she can for the track season. And that's where she really wants to go out and shine. So I do not expect this will be the best performance that Avery Fedler has at state cross country. I think it will only go up from here. So she was a little bit disappointed, but definitely said she learned a lot from there. And then Silas Hewlett, also in his first race, he took 53rd for the Panther boys, or the representative for the Panther boys as their lone runner in that race. And kind of same thing. He really wanted to pull out a PR, but kind of said the wind. It was very windy, especially for the 3A races. The conditions kind of got worse. Said the wind made that a little bit of a struggle, and just was. One thing was, I think all the runners were kind of taken aback by just how long everyone stayed in a pack, because, it doesn't separate out between the best and the worst runners, because it is the best in the state. But I think he's excited as well to kind of build on this. So no podium for the 3A runners for anybody, but some solid performances. And obviously kind of the headliner, Andrew Reese and Iris Dahl, ending some pretty phenomenal careers there for Washington.
For sure. And something about a lot of those 3A runners that you mentioned is that when it gets into track season, they are the type of runners. I mean, I know that Andrew and Iris both can stretch down, I guess, to like the 800. I think Iris was a state qualifier in the 800 this year, and I know that Avery Fedler the same way, where she, all of them are more. They're not just straight out distance runners. So
yeah,
they
it's
have
middle
a lot,
distance.
Yeah, they have a lot ahead of them in track season. It should be fun with all those kids. I was at the 1A, which is there's only one class, only 2 races, but there was a lot of runners for us in 1A. This year's just been a really strong year for 1A. I will start with the girls race, where Chloe Glosser, who came in, I believe, ranked 3rd. She finished 3rd last year. I think she had jumped up to the number 2 ranking going into this. She gets 2nd place, ran this thing in 18 minutes, 33.5 seconds. And fun little story here. Probably wasn't fun exactly when it happened, but Chloe fell in the last mile, right at the final hill that you go down there in Fort Dodge. And when she fell, she got passed. She was 3rd for a second, got up and passed the girl who actually it was Lauren Hilseland from North Iowa Buffalo Center, who also, I think they tripped up with each other. So it's not like one of them, got all the way tripped up and one of them just sped by. Both of them had a little bit of contact there. But so she had to battle through falling. Got up. She said it was the first time she's ever fallen in a cross country race. Got up, wow. passed for 2nd place down the stretch by less than a second, or just over a second. She got 2nd place. So the winner in that one was Lily Denton, who won last year, who ran at 17:56. Who's just a star. Something about in all of the races that we covered, like you covered the 3A races, there are like superstars in Iowa cross country right now. To where a lot of these races, it was like if it was like almost a shoo-in who was going to win a lot of these, because they're so stinking good.
Quentin Nauman, shout out. He's going to Oregon. He was crazy.
That's right. Hopefully, you know what? If I was Quentin Nauman, I would just say whoever wins. If Iowa beats Oregon in football this weekend, I'd say just decommit from Oregon and jump into the. Jumping for the Hawkeyes. No, he's a star. Speaking of, he owns like all the state records in 3A right now for track as well. And then Marissa Farabee for Pella, the 3A. She's just phenomenal. So there are a lot of good runners, but Glosser was our best performer. She got 2nd, ended a great cross country career. She said she's going to be doing some like regional, like national stuff for cross country. Not doing. She used to play basketball up until last year, but she'll be doing that until track season comes around. And then track season, watch out, Pekin girls track this spring will be very strong, and she could get a lot of points in the distance stuff. Waco's Josie Dykstra comes in and gets 21st, not too far off of the podium. She and Sienna Stannerson from Hillcrest Academy, 21st and 22nd. Sienna Stannerson, something popped into her the last a few weeks of the season, because she qualified for state for the first time and comes out here and beats a lot of good kids. I don't think she was ranked one time this year, I don't think, and she came out great job from her though. That's a senior. Josie Dykstra is a sophomore, so someone to really watch for for Waco. There were actually 2 Waco girls and 2 Hillcrest girls. Little down, Marie Yoder for Hillcrest Academy finishes this thing in where the heck did Marie end up? She ended up 40th, and then Waco freshman Macy Carter got 59th. So Marie Yoder's a junior, so she'll have another year. Macy Carter a freshman. Now for the team. Oh, by the way, and I also I missed a runner here. Columbus on the board with another Iris Garza. She ended up getting 29th, a junior. So she was the lone girl for Columbus. We'll talk a little bit more about the boys in a second. But team-wise, there was one team, Peter, or Jack. Gosh dang it, I keep seeing his name in back of you. And Peter. There was one team that had boys and girls both there as a team, one school. Van Buren County. Girls get 7th with 198. Nobody was that. All these teams that I'm about to talk to, they're almost all just like consistent. Nobody really was in the individual race from most of our teams that made it up there. But Van Buren County does go out and get 7th on the girls' side, and they got 12th on the boys' side. And on the boys' side, Lincoln Bainbridge, a senior who had made that, you talk about that, the deck. Obviously, Chloe made the deck, but he made it as a sophomore. He got 5th place up out of nowhere when he got 5th place. Last year, he missed out on it. This year, back on the deck, 7th place finish for Lincoln Bainbridge. He ends up running this thing in 16:36.6. Senior, a lot of good seniors in Class 1A boys, and he was one of them. So really cool. He said that his goal was to get back up there. And he talked about how when he started running for Van Buren County as a freshman, he's like, there were like 3 boys and 2 girls. And
I've talked with him about this too.
He's like, we did the state thing, and he was the only one that made it. It was him and his coaches and nobody from boys or girls. And now you have 14 I think 12 runners, because they didn't have the full 7 as far as qualifying. Just a bunch of Van Buren County runners are able to go up there, and so that was really cool for Van Buren County cross country to see them jump up there. So and then the boys, there were multiple teams in it. Columbus and Pekin were also in this thing team wise. Columbus came in 9th, ranked number 9. I think we talked last week about how they are just a pack, and that helped. That worked. The pack running and not having really one standout where they have all these kids that can place in the top, 50, 60 or so. They get 6th place as the 9th ranked team. Pekin gets 14th place. Pekin, of course, just got in the state qualifier over Waco. Best runner for either of those teams was Cole Milliken of Pekin, 33rd. So that shows how, and really besides Bainbridge, all those teams, it's all about just having a lot of kids that could run well. Not so much as, having 1 or 2 kids who you think maybe they're going to get on the deck or they're going to get, win or whatever. But great job by the packs there. By the way, Columbus's top runner was Ryan Villa this time around, and Columbus has a lot of juniors, a lot of younger kids. Pekin has a lot of younger kids, not Milliken, he's a senior, but a lot of younger kids as well. So future's bright for 1A boys cross country. Also shout out the only individual that didn't go with the team was Lachlan Henderson, who ends his cross country career. He got 89th. So cross country as always. We pretty much say it every year at this time. Don't worry. There's plenty more state qualifiers coming from Southeast Iowa. So that's it. A lot of kids. Congrats to all the kids. State cross country, state volleyball, and congrats to everyone who gets to see Jack on the sideline in Wellman this Friday night. And I'll tell you what you'll see no matter what. You'll see us back here. I almost went with the you'll see me later in the parking lot from Happy Gilmore. But there you go. Win.
I thought it did the W, but it just does the raise hand.
Oh, I forgot you can do it. I don't think mine does it. Anyway, Peace out, everybody. Oh, what the heck?